What the hell is happening with Jon Jones? So the internet caught on fire again with the Jon Jones situation, as on a FaceTime call with a friend or maybe just a former teammate, this person said they met 10 years ago and was still amazed that Jon Jones was still fighting, to which Jon Jones responded with, "I'm done, which of course probably means we're going to finally see Jon Jones actually retire very soon, and probably an official announcement this year. To further support this, Jon Jones went on a Twitter frenzy recently, as he's been filming a reality show / really vacationing in Thailand, already looking like he's started his retirement arc. He tweeted 2 days ago that he's been out here in Thailand enjoying life, stuffing my face every day, and I swear I'm losing weight somehow. The quality of the food here is amazing, so delicious, so clean. He's also been translating for Nate Diaz, throwing around Hasbullah, and just overall does not look like he's actually preparing for a fight anytime soon. And as much as you would think a disconnected, enjoying life Jon Jones is, he still is Jon Jones. So he'll still reply to random people and aggressively tell you he doesn't care about the criticism. Someone replied to that tweet saying, "Enjoying your last days as champ before being stripped, I see, John?" To which a very zen and living the best life Jon Jones responded with, "Stripped? Lol, do I come across as the type of person who cares about things like that?" Which, to his credit, Jon Jones has been stripped not once, not twice, but 3 times. And if he were to be stripped this time due to inactivity, this reason would probably be the least problematic reason for being stripped. But anyways, Jon Jones in a Thailand hotel room would continue to defend his own honor as he replied to another about not fighting Tom with, "Y'all barking up the wrong tree. I told the UFC my plans a long time ago. I have no clue why they haven't shared them with you guys yet." Which, by plans, probably means that Jon Jones told the UFC he wants to retire, but is on the fence. Which is also very interesting, because if Jon Jones is telling the truth, which would be hard to bet on, but if he is telling the truth, it makes you wonder why Dana and the UFC are not saying anything about Jon Jones, a potential retirement, and most importantly, not detailing a potential strip of Jon Jones's heavyweight belt, any subsequent upgrade for Tom to become undisputed champion in the next fight for him, which could and should be Cyril Gane. Maybe Dana truly believes that he can somehow get Jon Jones to fight Tom Aspinall for the long-awaited super fight for the undisputed heavyweight title. Apparently, he was able to meet Jon Jones's giant $30 million demand back in December of last year, and more recently, he has still confirmed that Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall will 100% happen this year. So what I really think is happening is that Jon Jones is edging Dana White about the retirement, mind you. And I think he's going to continue to do so to piss off Tom and also just continue to build his brand, quote unquote. But hold up, let's talk about a brand that I actually believe in. What's up, y'all? As you may know, I work out a lot, as you can tell by this fine physique. And one of the problems that I have from working out so gosh dang intensely is that I need to hydrate well and recover. So that's where our sponsor of the day, Magna, comes in. They're a triple magnesium hydration formula that you can mix into water, and basically it supports focus, energy, and recovery. And I know what you're thinking, magnesium is usually used to help sleep, but it also is the most important electrolyte, and the thing is 75% of us are deficient. If you're ever getting 8 hours of sleep but still feel drained, it's probably because you're low on magnesium. For me, like I said, I train a lot and sweat a lot, so I feel like my hydration isn't the best without Magna. And what I like about Magna as well is that though some of the flavors do taste really sweet, they're actually 0 sugar and don't have that much sodium. So key in point, they don't bloat you. I think when I drink other hydration drinks, they're jam-packed full of sugar and salt that makes me feel bloated. And that's the last thing this face needs, because it's the moneymaker. So visit drinkmagna.com and use code TJLovesFights to get 15% off your order. Huge thanks to Magna for sponsoring this video. Anyways, back to Johnny Meat on Twitter. He's responded that his plans are to, quote, continue to monetize on this amazing brand that I've created, like I said, and responded to basically what everyone has been saying with, quote, this attitude right here is making me a very wealthy man. This desperation is incredibly lucrative, so thank you, keep it coming. Spoken like a true sociopath. So from what it seems like, Jon Jones is already in retirement mode, working on his, quote, brand or whatever he's doing, which is definitely outside of fighting. And even more recently, as I'm writing the script, he just tweeted out, quote, "I don't know if I want to call it retired. I feel like I'll always have an ability to pop out and show them. I've had many breaks through my career," which is a really nice way of putting it. my identity outside of fighting is well intact. I'm genuinely enjoying life. I'm growing in different ways, which sounds like, honestly, the motherfucker is not going to fight Tom Aspinall and may sit out and come back when he can fight a guy like Alex Pereira for an easy fight or an easy payday. So from what we're seeing from Jon Jones' tweets, implicitly and explicitly, is that we're probably going to see Jon Jones' stranglehold over the UFC heavyweight division finally come to an end. Because real quick, let me remind you how much he has ruined this division. And holding the belt for this long, he is very close to becoming the longest reigning heavyweight champion with only 2 fights at the division and only 1 title defense in over 2 years. This, of course, has made Tom Aspinall the longest interim champion with an interim title defense under his name. Tom Aspinall won the interim title back in November of 2023, a year and a half ago, and defended it over a year ago back at UFC 304. Think about it, an interim champion not fighting for undisputed in over a year and a half is bananas. Shit, I made a video on how Jon Jones is ruining the heavyweight division over a year and a half ago, and we're basically in the same situation. Nothing really has changed. So with a Jon Jones retirement hopefully officially soon so that we can see Tom again, at least we can stop wasting Tom Aspinall's prime. A Jon Jones retirement and strip of the heavyweight belt would likely mean Tom Aspinall again would be upgraded to actual heavyweight gold, and his next fight has to be Ciryl Gane for his first title defense. Tom should probably run through Ciryl, who is a movie star these days, and yeah, I don't know what his next course of action would be, considering how ass the heavyweight division is right now in general. With Ciryl Gane, he would have beaten 6 of the top 7 guys, and I don't think Jilton Almeida would be a true threat to Tom Aspinall, so we would probably see a rematch between him and Volkov, who has been improving and just had a super close fight with Ciryl Gane despite the loss. But despite how sparse the heavyweight division is, at the very least, we could see Tom Aspinall have the belt and actually have the best heavyweight be active defending said belt. Without Jon Jones, the heavyweight division is still pretty bad, but at the very least, Tom Aspinall would be knocking people out twice a year instead of every other year like Jon Jones. So when is this all officially going down? I think with all the shit Jon Jones has been tweeting, Dana White has to cut his losses eventually. Granted, not soon. I also think because of Dana White's pride, his commitment to get this fight done, and his weird love for Jon Jones, who just keeps edging him for this Tom Aspinall fight, he's still going to continue to try this whole summer to make this fight happen, which would be nice for Jon Jones because I believe in August, that's when he officially becomes the longest reigning heavyweight champion, meaning I think an official retirement announcement from Dana White happens then. And when that does happen, what does this mean for Jon Jones' legacy? I think had Jon Jones retired right after the Ciryl Gane fight, the last respectable win from Jon Jones, he would have been the unquestionable, untouchable, undisputed GOAT with very little questions asked. He shocked the world by coming out of a long hiatus to a new weight class against the best heavyweight the UFC had to offer at the time and made it look easy. He became a 2-division champion and pretty much put himself just above the other GOATs in Anderson Silva, GSP, and Mighty Mouse. But with the Stipe win meaning jack shit, considering Stipe was 42 years old and him continually delaying a fight with the obvious best contender and literal interim champion for more than a year and a half, if the gap between him and the rest of the greatest of all time looked like this after the Ciryl Gane fight, this whole Tom Aspinall fiasco has probably made the gap look like this now. I truly think with a retirement now from Jon Jones, and if he never fights Tom Aspinall, this duck move would still keep him the greatest of all time, but leave some room for people to say GSP or somebody else is the greatest of all time. But especially how he has been handling the criticism is how he will be remembered, and really why his stock for the untouchable GOAT has dropped so heavily. He complains all the time about how a younger, bigger, prime Tom Aspinall does nothing for his legacy when, for one, he's the fucking #1 contender. Defeating the next best contender and the next generation would be huge for his resume and is just what he has to do as champion. And number 2, he was literally in Tom Aspinall's position when he was younger, bigger, and the prime guy against Daniel Cormier, when in his first fight he was 27 and DC was 35, and in the second fight when John was 30 and DC was 38. And more interestingly, I think this opens a wide open door for Islam Makhachev to eventually become the greatest of all time. I think Islam is like 6th right now, arguably the 5th best fighter of all time, but with a potential win over JDM, he becomes a champion in 2 different divisions. And if he moves back down to beat a guy like Ilia Topuria, who might be champion, that's insane for his resume. Sure, he doesn't have nearly the defenses as Jon Jones or the other guys most people have as top 4, but he would be double champion on top of 4 title defenses in the hardest division to do so, Fiasco in a generation that is definitely more well-rounded than the previous generations. And now with Jon Jones' bastard move of retiring before fighting Tom Aspinall probably, Islam becoming the GOAT is a very, very likely possibility. So anyways, what do you guys think about the Jon Jones fiasco? Is he actually going to retire? Is he going to fight Tom Aspinall? Probably not. But hopefully we can see an official announcement soon so that this division can finally move on. Whether it's Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones, or Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane, or Tom Aspinall versus anybody, hopefully Tom is officially champion and we can finally move on from this mess. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.